Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's session, we are going to discuss about automation tester or the QA roadmap. So what exactly the points and what exactly the skills you need to become a automation tester. So if you are a fresher or a college pass out and want to become automation tester, or if you are currently working in the manual testing and want to change your career and want to become the automation tester or automation engineer, then this video is for you. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about all those skills and tools that you should have a knowledge about to become an automation tester or automation QA. This is a complete roadmap, and in this video, we are going to see the step by step how you can become an automation tester and how you can change your career from the manual or the functional testing to the automation testing. So let's start with today's video. The first thing is the basics of the software testing. So before you move into the automation testing, you should have the knowledge about the basic software testing concepts. So you should have the knowledge about the SDLC and the STLC, that is the software development lifecycle and software testing lifecycle, and the phases of the software development and testing lifecycle. So what exactly the phases and when the testing comes, as a tester, what exactly your roles and responsibility, you should be aware about that. The next point is the test cases writing and the execution. This is important part. So when you are writing the test cases, you need to write what exactly the summary, the test cases steps, expected, actual, right? So this is the format of writing the test cases. But you need to understand the different ways and the different points you need to consider while you are writing the test cases for any particular application. So you should have idea about how to write the test cases and how to perform, how to do the execution, how to write the test data for your test cases. So all the points is covered in the testing basics. You should have the knowledge about the test management tool, then requirement traceability matrix, if your all the requirement is covered in the testing or not. So you should have the knowledge about all this point. The next point is the bug tracking tool. So in the market, there are different bug tracking tools available like Jira, Bugzilla, HPLM. You should have at least knowledge of the one bug tracking tool, how to write the bug report, how to create that, what exactly the different points you should consider while writing the bug report that you should aware about. What exactly the bug or defect life cycle, how exactly the issue gets retested, the regression, all those terminologies, you should have the knowledge about that. Okay. Then the next point is the agile methodologies and the scrum ceremonies. So this is the very important topic. So when you are working in the team and any project, you should have the knowledge about what exactly the agile methodologies and what exactly the different scrum ceremonies are present. So Scrum is an agile framework that include several ceremonies or events to facilitate the collaboration, transparency, and continuous improvement within your team. So there are different Scrum ceremonies like a sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, sprint retrospective. All those terms you should aware about, and you should have the knowledge about how exactly the Scrum works. Okay. The next point is the testing types. So we already covered all the testing types in our manual tutorial playlist. So you can refer that. I'm providing the link in the description for all the basic software testing concept we are going to cover in this manual tutorial series. So make sure that you subscribe to YouTube channel and press that notification bell so you will get notified for every new uploads. So in the manual testing or in the functional testing, we are going to cover this all those points that we have mentioned here in the basics of the software testing. So what exactly the different testing types available? So there is a unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing, functional, non-functional. There are many different testing types. And this testing type, as a tester, you are going to work on that day-to-day basis. So that's why you should have a knowledge about what exactly the different testing types are available. The next point is a different techniques of the testing. So whenever you are writing the test cases or executing the test cases, you should have the knowledge about what exactly the different techniques available in the testing, and you should use that in your work. So there are different techniques of the testing available, like a boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, that we are going to cover in the manual tutorial series. The next point is API testing basics. API, application programming interface testing, it is a type of a software testing. An API is a set of rules and protocol that allows different software application to communicate with each other. So in the API testing, there are different HTTP methods are available. What exactly the request responses, what exactly the different status codes, data validation, authentication, authorization, all those things points covered in the API testing basics. So you should have the knowledge about the basics of the API, how all those HTTP methods works, what exactly the responses you are getting. You can use the Postman tool for this manual API testing execution. So these are the different points you should be aware about when you want to become an automation tester. The foundation to become an automation tester is you should know about the basics of the software testing. Functional testing, or you can call as the manual testing, is a very important to become the automation tester. You should have a knowledge about the concepts of the software testing, what exactly the testing types, testing techniques, all those things, the scrum ceremonies, agile methodologies, bug tracking tool, all those things you should be aware about before you start and before you learn the programming language. These are the basic things you should be aware about. So let's move to the next topic. The second thing, when you want to become automation tester, you should have a knowledge about the programming languages. So Java is the most widely used programming language in the automation industry. So you will see lot of openings using Java with the Selenium. When you start your journey from a manual or a functional tester and you want to become and learn the automation testing, I will suggest first learn a Java or a Python. So Python is a very simple language. You can easily learn the Python language as compared to Java. You can decide which language you want to learn first. So I will suggest learn Java or Python and then starts the learning about the automation libraries. So first thing you need to do is learn the programming languages. Don't directly go to the Selenium and try to learn the Selenium. Instead of that, first learn the programming language. All those concepts from the programming language should be clear before you start the automation framework or the automation library. Okay. Apart from the Java and Python, we have the C Sharp JavaScript. So in nowadays, I'm seeing there are most of the openings using the JavaScript for the Cypress and the Playwright. So you can learn the JavaScript as well. If you want to work on those particular tools, you need to learn and you need to have a knowledge about the JavaScript. So I will suggest first start with the Java or Python. The Selenium with Java or Selenium is with Python, you can see a lot of openings in these skills, and then slowly move to the JavaScript and improve your programming languages skills. So these are the languages you need to learn before you start the automation testing. One more programming language is the SQL. So SQL is the structure query language. It is a programming language used for managing and manipulating the relational database. So when you are doing the backend testing or the database testing, SQL is a very important. So it allows you to perform the various operation on a data store in a relational database management system that we call as a RDBMS. So you should have the knowledge about this SQL programming language as well. So whenever you start, so suppose you have right now you have the knowledge about the software testing basics and you want to move to the automation testing, I will suggest first learn a Java or Python, then learn the SQL as well for the backend testing, and then move to the automation libraries like a Selenium or all other automation libraries available. Okay. So that's it for the programming language. Let's move to the next topic. The next is the automation tools. So in the market, there are different automation tools are available. So in the automation tool, there are categories like a web automation tool, API automation tool, mobile automation tool, and automation tool depends on the language as well. So as per your project requirement and as per your knowledge, if you want to learn, you as per the programming language that you have selected, you can prefer this automation tool. So suppose you have learned the Java, then I will suggest to go with the Selenium WebDriver first. So this is Java with the Selenium WebDriver is a very demanding. So I will suggest to go with this first. Apart from that, there are different automation tools are available. I have written some of the automation tools here. So there is a Selenium WebDriver. For the Cypress and Playwright, you need to have the understanding of the JavaScript. So you can use those tools as well if you have the understanding of the JavaScript. Then for the API, there is a REST Assured framework for the Java and the request framework for the Python. So as per your programming language skill, you can choose the tools according to your skills. Then for the mobile, we have the APM tool as well. So in our Selenium tutorial, we are going to cover the Selenium WebDriver from the very basics to the advanced topics like how to create the framework, and I will explain you the how to design the framework as well. So as we discussed, as per your skills and the project requirement, you can choose your automation tool. There are different automation and variety of the automation tools are present in the market. Uh, in some of the automation tools, you don't need to add the coding as well. So I will discuss that at the end. But these are the most commonly used the automation tools, and you should have the knowledge about at least one of the automation tool before you start giving the interviews as an automation tester. So from the web automation tool, you can choose anything like a Selenium WebDriver or Cypress. At least have a knowledge about one automation tool from the web automation. Then the API automation using the REST Assured and the mobile automation, you can do that using the APM. So at least have a one automation tool knowledge, and then you can start giving the interview as the automation tester. And this is for the fresher level. You should have the knowledge about the testing framework as well. So as a fresher level, that will be fine if you just know how the framework is working, what are the different components and folders available in the framework. You should not have or you should not have the experience in writing the complete framework, right? At the fresher level only. But if you have a experience greater than 3 to 5 in that bucket, in that case, you should know how to write the testing framework. You should need to explain all the folders available in your testing framework. So first understand the test automation framework like a page object model, POM. So you can use the test ng with a POM and you can write your framework. You should have the knowledge about the different annotation used in the test ng, about the parameter, data provider, all those things coming in the test ng and how to do that using a page object model. You should have a knowledge about all those things when writing the framework. Then there are different frameworks available like a data driven, keyword driven, or hybrid. So what is the data driven? You are fetching the data maybe from the Excel, from the JSON file, or from your database, and you are using that for the test cases execution. Keyword driven is now outdated technology. I will say not most of the people right now using the keyword driven. Mostly focus is now moved to the Cucumber and the test ng with the POM or the data driven or the hybrid. But the keyword driven is now, I will say, is a less used framework in the market. But the keyword driven is a basically you need to write the keyword for your every actions and then use that in your framework. Hybrid is a basically the combination of the data driven and the keyword driven. Then we have this behavior driven development BDD framework like a Cucumber. You can use that. This is the mostly used framework right now in the market. So I will say when you are learning the framework, first start with the test engine with form, that is the very basics, and then move to the maybe data driven hybrid and the Cucumber. When you start learning about the Cucumber, you should have the knowledge about the Gherkin language as well. So for the each and every framework, there are different prerequisites. First, complete that. So for the test ng with POM, what exactly the POM, how to create the folder structure for the POM, what exactly the test ng, what are the different annotation used in the test ng, what is the data provider. So this is the prerequisite, and then start creating your testing framework. Okay. For the API, there is a Karate API framework available. So list of the frameworks available currently in the market. I have mentioned some of the frameworks here. So your skills and your project requirement and the company requirement, you can choose your testing framework. Now we covered this. The first thing is the basics of software testing, programming language, automation tool, testing framework. If you've done so far, if you have completed and if you have a knowledge about so far, you can start applying for the automation tester for the senior level. If you have the knowledge about how to create a testing framework, you can easily apply for the senior position as the automation tester. There are some add-on skills as well. So these are the basic skills for the automation tester. I'm not telling you to learn each and every framework and to learn each and every tools or how to knowledge about all those languages, but at least you should have any one language or any one tool, select that, and you should have a good knowledge about that. Now, apart from this, there are many other skills that are add-on to this automation tester phase, or if you want to become a successful software tester, you should have a knowledge about all these things as well. So let's start what exactly this add-on. So when you are starting with the automation testing, it is very important you should have a knowledge about the version control. Control is a very important for managing the test code and collaborating with the team. So when you start to learn how to use a version control, you should learn what exactly the Git, GitHub or GitLab. You can choose any tool, but you should have a knowledge about what exactly the different commands we are using in the version control. So suppose if you are using a Eclipse from the UI as well, you can directly do this git command like a push or pull. But I will suggest do this using a command prompt, or you should have how exactly this is working from the backend. What exactly the different command push, pull, then creating the merge request, if there is any conflict, how to resolve that. Those are the basic things about the version control you should definitely know. You can choose any tool, GitHub or GitLab, that's your choice, or whatever the tool using in your company, you can learn about that. But this is the very important topic. You should have a knowledge about the version control. The next thing is the dependency management. So what exactly the dependency management? So dependency management system that simplifies the process of handling external libraries and dependencies. So whenever we are creating any Maven project, we are adding the dependencies in the pom.xml. So suppose in my project, I'm using the Selenium dependency, TestNG dependency, or any other dependency. So instead of adding to jar manually in your project, you can use any dependency management tool. So you just need to add the dependency and add all those libraries under that particular dependency. So Maven is the central repository. It is a public repository that contains a vast number of open source libraries and the dependencies. So when you declare a dependency, Maven will automatically search and download it from the central repository. This dependency management simplifies the process of handling external libraries and ensure that your project dependencies are consistent and easily reproducible across different development environments. It's a fundamental part of a Maven capabilities and contribute its popularity in the Java development community. So there are different dependency management tools available in the market. So you can learn about the Maven or the Gradle depending on the project requirement again. So you can choose any dependency management tool, but you should have a knowledge about how this dependency management tool works and use that in your automation framework. So this is the must have. So you should have a knowledge about the version control and the dependency management. So next point is about the CI/CD. So learn about CI/CD pipeline and how to integrate automated tests using the development pipeline. So you can use the tools like Jenkins, GitLab as your pipeline. Using this tool, you can execute tests in a scheduled way or auto trigger on the development changes. So you should have at least a knowledge about one of this CI/CD tool. So you can choose any tool like a Jenkins, GitLab, or Azure pipeline, depending again on your project requirement. What kind of different jobs and different stages available in the pipeline, that again depend upon your the project requirement and your automation framework and what exactly you want to do in a continuous integration or the in the CI/CD pipeline, what exactly you want to include. So how to write the pipeline, how to execute the pipeline. So these are the things you should have a knowledge about. Let's talk about the non-functional testing. In every QA team, there will be the separate team for this doing this non-functional testing. But as a software tester or the automation tester, as a software tester, basically, you should have a knowledge about at least a basic knowledge about non-functional testing. So what exactly the performance testing? What are the different types of the performance testing? So there is a load testing, stress testing, how to do that. At least the basic knowledge, what exactly the throughput, response time, all those things that you need to check in your day-to-day life when you are doing any uh, or you are testing any application. Then there is a security testing. You should have a knowledge about authorization, authentication. So suppose I'm logging through the admin, what exactly the rights I should have to view that application. Those are the basic things, and you should have the basic knowledge about the non-functional testing. When it comes to the tool, if you want to become a non-functional tester, like a performance tester or the security tester, you should have the complete knowledge about these tools. But if you want to have like an add-on, you are automation tester, but you have a knowledge about this non-functional testing tool as well. That will be the add-on, and that will be add a more weightage to your resume. So in the performance testing, there are different tools available like a JMeter, LoadRunner, Gatling. So JMeter is an open source tool, so you can use that. For the LoadRunner, it is a license. So many of the companies like the MNC which are using the LoadRunner. So JMeter and LoadRunner are most popular tools in the performance testing. So if you want to learn a performance testing, you can start with a JMeter or the LoadRunner. There is a security testing. So for the security testing, there are tools available like a Zap, Pursuit. So you can choose any tool and you can learn the performance testing and the security testing. So if you want to become a complete automation tester, this is the add-on. But if you want to become a full stack software tester, you should have knowledge about this non-functional testing tools. Cloud testing. So there are different cloud testing service provider are available, like Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS, Amazon Web Services. So you should have a basic knowledge about the cloud testing. So cloud testing, what exactly the purpose of doing the cloud testing? To create the basically to create the testing environment. So cloud testing allows you to scale up or down based on the testing requirement. So you can quickly provision additional resources, maybe for the load testing or the performance testing. And this is a cost efficient as well because the cloud services often operate on pay as you go model, which can be more cost effective. So that's why most of the companies right now using a cloud testing team can access cloud-based testing environment from anywhere within with an internet connection, enabling distributed and remote testing teams to collaborate effectively. Even the parallel testing is also possible using the cloud testing. Cloud testing empowers organization to conduct the efficient testing, which provides this flexibility, scalability, and cost effectiveness of a cloud computing. It is particularly valuable for organizations that require agile and continuous testing practice in this modern software development environment. So we should have a basic knowledge about this cloud testing providers. So there are different certifications are also available for this. So there are fundamental certification to the advanced certifications available for the Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS. is the certification required to show your experience in the cloud testing? I will say no, the certification are not required, but basically yes, certification will add a more weightage. Whatever you are presenting in your during the interview time, that is more important. So suppose if you have a good knowledge about Azure and you don't have the certification, that's fine, because during the interview, if your knowledge is showcasing, if interviewer is know that okay you have a good knowledge about the Azure, then that's fine if you don't have the certification as well. Suggest if your company is providing any free certification for this cloud platform, please go for that and attempt that certification and add in your resume. That will definitely add the weightage, but certification is not required. Your experience and in your knowledge in that particular topic is matter most than the certification. So let's move to the next topic. The next is the codeless tool. So in the market, there are different codeless tools available like Catalan Studio, Tosca. So you can learn about this tool as well. So if you don't want to do a coding and you want to learn some code with some easy way, then you can learn this codeless tool as well. So there are different openings for the Catalan Studio and there are different openings for the Tosca available in the market. But I will suggest to learn any programming language and you should have a knowledge about the programming language and how to develop a test automation framework. It will definitely add a more weightage to your resume. There are different openings for this codeless tool as well. So there are the particular opening for the Tosca or the particular openings for the only for the Catalan Studio is also available in the market, and this is also the demanding job. So with your decision if you want to go with a codeless tool or if you want to do a coding and create your own test automation framework, and that is also depend on the company requirement as well. So some of the companies are using the Tosca and there are the openings for the Tosca as well. So there are few other skills that you should have a knowledge about to become a successful automation tester. Let's discuss that. The first is the soft skills. Develop a communication, teamwork, and problem solving skills to work effectively with the development and the QA teams. Tester, you need to communicate with lot of teams, maybe the development team, the project managers, and there are different other teams available. So you need to communicate with them. So the second point is the real world project. You should have a practical experience by working on the real project or contributing to the open source test automation project. So suppose in the case you didn't get a chance to work on the automation project in your company and you want to showcase about your automation knowledge, in that case, I will suggest to create one framework at your end and push it in on the GitHub and share that repository with the everyone and add that in the resume. So it will show you, okay, you have a knowledge about how to develop a framework, you have knowledge about this particular programming language. The way you develop the framework, that will also showcase your knowledge in this automation testing. So that is the really important to show your experience, and you have or you need to work on the real time project. The third point is the certification. We already discussed about the certification in the cloud testing chapter. There are different certification available like a ISTQB, or for the cloud testing, you can do any certification of AWS, Azure, or the Google Cloud. You can prefer that certification, but again, certification is not mandatory. That's just add on. That will add a more weightage to the resume. But if you have the experience, if you have a knowledge about any particular topics, you don't need to do the certification. But if your company is providing the free certification or they are pushing you to do the certification, I will definitely suggest you to complete the certification and add that in your resume. That will definitely add the weightage, but the certification is not mandatory. That's just add on. Next point is networking. Build a professional network. You can attend a testing conferences, webinar, or join any online community and be active and make your network. That will also help to you for the you will get a knowledge about the new topics in the automation, or new topics in the software testing, you will get a knowledge from the different people, and it will help you to grow your skills and grow in your careers. So networking is a very important. The next point is the continuous learning. So as an automation tester or as a software tester, it is very important to stay updated with the latest tool and technologies. As the automation testing is a continuously evolving, I will suggest to stay up to date. So you can refer some blogs, you can read some articles to keep you up to date about what exactly happening, what are the new technologies available in the market, which are the technologies most of the companies are preferring right now. So stay up to date about what's exactly happening in the market and learn about those new technology as well. So continuous learning is also very important. So in today's session, we discuss about a lot of topics. So let's revise them again. First thing, you should have the basics of the software testing. What exactly the points you need to have the knowledge about that I already mentioned in this PPT. Your basics should be clear about the software testing. The next thing is the programming language. You can select any programming language, maybe Java, Python, C Sharp, JavaScript, and work on that, have a knowledge about that and start coding. You can use the HackerRank for the different coding challenges as well to improve your skills, the programming skills. You can use that. SQL important for the backend testing, database testing. You can learn the SQL as well. The next topic is the automation tool. Depend on the language you have selected and the automation tool using in your company. You can choose the automation tool of your preference. For the website, API, and the mobile, there are different automation tools available in the market. You can use a Selenium WebDriver, Cypress, Playwright. For the API, you can use Rest Assured, or for the mobile, you can use the APM. So you can choose your any tools from the this automation tools library, and then you can start working on that. The next thing is the testing framework. You can choose any framework of your choice. So these are the some of the frameworks available in the market, and start working on that. For the fresher level, you should have a knowledge about what are the different folders and components available in your testing framework and how the framework is working. As the experienced person, experience more than 3+ years, you should have a knowledge about how to develop the framework. So it is very important, and it is the most commonly asked interview question. To explain your automation framework, you should be able to explain what are the different folders available, the folder structure of your automation framework, and how exactly it working, how the folders are interconnected to each other, which framework you are using. So as per your the project requirement, you can choose your framework. The next and the important topic is about the version control and the dependency management. As as an automation tester, you should have a knowledge about version control and the dependency management. For the version control, you can choose GitHub or GitLab or any other version control tool. For the dependency management as well, you can choose any dependency management, Maven or the Gradle, that will be your choice, and start working on that and use that in your automation framework. The next thing is the CI/CD. You should have the knowledge about how exactly the CI/CD works. Any tools of the CI/CD, Jenkins, GitLab, or Azure Pipeline, you can use the any tool for the CI/CD. What exactly the different stages and the jobs available in your pipeline, and how exactly it working, how to schedule a pipeline. All those things you should have a knowledge about the CI/CD, as you should have a knowledge about the CI/CD as well. The next thing we discuss about the non-functional testing. This is a add-on to become a full stack automation tester. You should have a knowledge about the non-functional testing. For the QA team, there will be a separate non-functional team as well, but it is very important you to have the basic knowledge about what exactly the non-functional testing, what exactly the performance testing and the security testing. And there are different tools available in the market for the performance testing and security testing. So you can learn that as well. The next topic is the cloud testing. So we already discussed there are different cloud service platform available in the market like Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS. You sh- so you should have a knowledge about any one cloud service provider. You can choose any one Azure, Google Cloud, AWS. That again depend upon your company, cloud provider they are using. So you can work on that, and you should have a knowledge and experience about the cloud testing as well. We discuss about the codeless tool. That is the complete different topic, I will say. So if you want to learn about the codeless tool, you can definitely start learning up to the basics of the software testing. You can start learning about this codeless tool. So in the market there are different codeless tool available. So I have mentioned the Catalan Studio and Tosca here. You can start working on that. This is to become a successful automation tester. You should have a soft skill, a real world project experience. Certification will be the add-on. You should have a good networking, and continuous learning is a very important. So that's it for the today, guys. So this is the complete roadmap to become automation tester, or I will say a successful software tester. Want to start your career in software testing, this roadmap you can follow. If you are currently working in the functional or the manual testing and you want to move or upskills to the automation testing, this is the roadmap you need to follow. If you want to become a complete non-functional tester, you should have a knowledge about the basic software testing, and then you can move to the non-functional tester. If you want to learn the codeless tool, then you should have the basics of the software testing, and then you can start working on those codeless tool as well. So that will be your choice, what exactly the path you want to choose. So in this complete roadmap, there are different small paths as well. So that will be your choice. So that's it for the today, guys. If you have any question or if you want more explanation on any topics of this session, you can put down that in the comment section. I will try to respond them. So if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that's it for the today. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.